Welcome there, traveller. Please, take a seat, grab a drink, and enjoy the Sunday session.
Okay, so yeah, welcome back to playing D&D.
The Sunday session.
The Sunday sessions, recorded on a Friday.
Sunday sessions.
In a truly isolated setting.
I don't remember what happened last time. My brain is Swiss cheese from not having,
We just had that conversation.
Doing an AM/PM
Wait.
switch
What?
in between. Like, actually doing 2 AM/PM switches between our previous sessions has left me forgetting everything.
Because you said we just had that conversation, and I'm like, I don't remember having that conversation.
No, you weren't. Your
I
video
thought it
was
was
on,
worse
but you
than I
weren't
thought
here.
it was.
I think you had gotten up to do something, but because your video was on, you weren't here, and we were discussing how none of us remember what happened.
Cool.
Okay. Last session, you were tracking down Korik and Sparky. You fought a zombie.
We found Korik and Sparky.
You found Korik and Sparky, who were fighting more wolves.
Oh yeah, we killed the zombie wearing the straw hat.
That's the one.
I remember that now.
It was a slightly tougher than normal zombie that didn't actually matter because Wick managed to do a crit.
Good
Yep.
times.
Just undermining the one interesting thing that zombies have, which is undead fortitude. Which doesn't work when you crit them.
Nope.
Okay, so yeah, you found Korik and Sparky. They made their way back to town with you. You gathered up the various combatants around town and all met up at the walking hut. Irina had the child. Ismark was somewhat of a protective uncle, but
I can't remember if that child looked... Did it look like a normal human child, or did it look like some kind of weird demon baby?
I kind of described it a little bit Benjamin Button-y. It was a baby, but it was definitely old.
Okay.
Um,
Old baby.
Old baby. It's an old soul. You like that one, do you?
Literally.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know about demons, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so she's had the child. The child was then whisked away somewhat via cauldron. And then Babalai Saga basically drove everyone in the hut up the river and to the meeting point with Alphonse, the familiar ferret.
Oh, Jesus. Is that a human baby?
It was what I searched for when I found old baby.
I hate it.
I don't like that at all.
It needs to die.
I hadn't imagined exactly what it looked like, and now I can't unsee that. But yeah, Babala Saga with the walking hut took a somewhat all-terrain path to the meeting point with Alphonse, and you guys were quickly we're trying to sneak to the meet point. That was less successful because of some people are not being very, very sneaky. And
What are you talking about?
But you do manage to sort of jump through a teleportation circle, and everyone is within Mornikanen's magnificent mansion.
That's where we ended, right?
That's where you ended.
Yay! Yay! We did
Remember
it!
that now.
We did it, guys!
Good on us.
Good on us! Who's like us?
You guys are in the sort of the landing spot of the teleportation circle. You're greeted at that point by Mornikanen.
Hello.
Now, remind me, who's been here before?
None of us?
No, none of us have.
Didn't we? No, we were in the mansion when we were discussing plans.
Yes.
We came here with the Burgermeister.
Yep.
I thought we discussed plans at the Burgermeister's house.
Yeah.
No, you definitely did get whisked to the safer location that is his mansion.
He made a portal.
Yeah. So you've
Okay.
all been here before. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you for that reminder. Okay. He signals for you to follow and sort of swoops around 180 and a sort of a flowing motion of all the gravitas that is Mordenkainen in his full power, and strides out of this room that is just a library with a fireplace, because that is where his teleportation circle is based.
The gravitas of being a dick.
I swish my traveling cloak around myself, and I stride after him with a comparable amount of gravitas.
So you're just assuming that he meant walk this way.
It's better than walking that way.
He opens up the small double doors that lead into this into this room, and then they open up into a large hallway. You are on the first tier of a multiple leveled room, like a foyer area. In the middle there is a very ornate, probably about 3-story high marble fountain, a peak of which is a stone version of Mordenkainen with staff aloft with water sort of spraying out like it's magic. He has a particular style, and that style is, "How great am I?"
Dude, check me out.
He walks along this banistered tier that overlooking the very large sort of marble floored foyer area. Again, there's quite ornate fountains right in the center. There are rows and rows of artworks along each side of this hallway, and on closer inspection, you notice that every single one of them depicts Mordenkainen doing something particularly interesting or exciting or dramatic.
Narlock is taking notes.
Yeah.
So right now it's the three of us, Irina,
Arena.
Saga,
Yep. Ismark
Ismark
and Rictavio.
just painting a word picture.
And the baby.
No, the baby is no longer with.
The baby went in the cauldron and is now soup.
It
Oh,
is
that's right. Yeah, she gave
baby
the
soup.
baby
Tasty,
yeah,
tasty baby soup.
Taste the
baby to
baby
another
soup.
witch.
Heinz creamy baby
That
soup.
good old baby soup.
Cream of child soup. No, I don't like that one.
No.
No,
No.
that one has a bad feel.
Cream of corn. Children of the corn.
There we go.
Hey.
There we go. We found the joke.
Did we?
Found the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Okay. Mordenkainen is walking at an extreme pace and not looking back to see if you guys are following. He steps along and reaches a set of large gilded doors and slams them open, leading you inside. Inside the room, there is a large round table that is lit by a circular chandelier of orbs that are made up of orbs of floating light,
That's pretty cool.
arranged in a ring. It's basically very similar to the war room picture that I've got going up behind me.
Fancy.
Right?
I'm assuming in his interplanar travels, he's found somewhere that's a bit more futuristic, so he would have something that's like that.
Or just a round table is somewhat easy to coordinate with. You can see everyone, and
Or he managed to watch Doctor Strangelove through his scrying pool at some point.
He's got a big map in the center of the table, and it's got all of these tiny plastic miniatures.
kinda. You are getting a little bit ahead of yourself there, but yes, in the middle of this round table, there is the scrying bowl that he had is there and is it seems larger than it was before. It's taking up more space in the area, and what was a flat image in the surface of the pool is now sort of projected upwards out of the pond into just like these flowing little cascades of water, and you can see these sort of the landscape around Castle. Right in the center is Castle Ravenloft. Around that, you see the landscape where it sort of sits up on its own little mesa. And around the edge of it is the gorges that basically make up the river system where you guys broke in through last time. You can also see the bridge and gates that lead to the main entrance to the castle, but it's all sort of made up of water that it seems to be kind of like coming up in a jet and then flowing down in the shapes to make up this. The space also extends out a little bit further, so you've got sort of a large-ish area around Castle Ravenloft mapped out in 3D.
Remember when there was that model that we found in the Amber Temple?
Mm-hmm.
We made copious notes.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
Because we could just
And we
tell
gave those
Mordenkainen
notes
where
to
it is.
We gave those notes to Mordenkainen, didn't we?
I believe you did.
Yeah,
Sounds like something we would have done.
We were in the War Council thing when we were planning out this thing. He scried. He scried on the window that we ended up getting
Yep.
through. So he was a part of that whole inspecting the plans thing.
He turns and basically looks each of you in turn in the face, and then just sort of like signals towards a chair. And as he's looking at you and signal, and like without looking where he's pointing, sort of points a hand over towards a chair. That chair just illuminates a little bit brighter.
Do they have little symbols painted on the back of them that corresponds to each of us?
You could check that out when you go over there.
I go over to mine. Does it have a symbol on it?
Your one has a raven skull.
Oh, neat. That's like it's like my pendant. This is my chair.
What does mine have?
Your one has the Mars symbol and a sword.
Does Narlax just have a question mark?
You're the Riddler. Riddle me piss.
Riddle me piss.
I feel like Mordenkainen has a bunch of spell slots that he saves every day just for shit like this. He's just got a reserved.
I believe he's
he
leveled
doesn't have
beyond
spell
spell
slots.
slots. He is now just magic incarnate.
He's like, spell slots? Where we're going, we won't need spell slots. Back to the Future reference.
Oh,
I figure he's
timely reference.
timely. See what you did there. I figure he's at that point where everybody has their own personal fan fiction.
And he's written most his own.
No, yeah, you know exactly what I mean. He's basically at Mary Sue levels when he's in his own room, or in his own mansion.
Yeah, you know how most monsters and everything and creatures that are high level have lair actions. His lair actions and features are basically magic just works. Just whatever he wants to do with something, it works.
He's a wizard. Hey guys, he's a wizard.
He's a wizard with
he is
dozens of spells named after him because he created them.
He is a wizard did it.
Yes.
When they say a wizard did it, they're talking about him.
A lot of the times, yeah. If it's not him, it's Elmeister. But yeah.
I sit in my chair, and I'm very happy that I have a chair. I have a chair at this table. Is there an empty one here that looks like it should be for YU?
Yes. That one there on the you notice on the back of the chair there is this symbol of a harp. But yeah. So yeah, Ulrich's got the sword crossing over the Mars symbol. You've got with Narlag. Your one is somewhat prismatic. It's one of those ones that whichever angle it looks at, it sort of shifts.
It's like
like those cards you used to get that had little ridges on it.
And was it
move it from side to side?
How was it
Holographic.
Lenticular.
Lenticular. That's the one I was yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, those ones. Yeah. But no, your one, from one angle, it has like what looks like a conical flask bubbling over. From another one, it has looks like a large blood drop, but with like the sparks and fire coming off it like prestidigitation.
I walk over to his and I start looking for the sailboat.
We found the new joke. Mallrats references, even slightly newer than Back to the Future references. But only just. Looking around the rest of the room, you already already sitting down is Baron Velokovich, the Burgermeister from Valaki. His one is a symbol of the. I hadn't actually thought about his symbol.
His would just be his house symbol.
Yeah, his house crest.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Similar for Ismark as well. He's got one for the village of Barovia symbol. You also see Blinsky sitting there with his little
Monkey.
The monkey Piccolo is up on his shoulder. The symbol for his is a jester's cap with a series of cogs sitting in where the head would be.
Oh, we need to chat to him about getting more grenades.
Yes, because we used all of the grenades.
Do you see a seat for Rictavio, which is a crossbow and a wooden stake crossing each other?
Neat.
Fancy.
There is already a seat for Bubble Saga, which is a bubbling cauldron.
Thank you.
I like
Bubble
this modern cadence
Saga.
all about branding. It's great.
Yeah, it's somewhat his jam. Again, for a guy with about a dozen spells named after him, branding is his jam. He is
It's on brand.
It is on brand. You also notice, looking around the room, you also see that Izek is there.
Ooh. How's he doing?
He is sitting there, and he's leaning forwards with like his hands crossed over together, like this, and just sort of like resting his hands on his head on his hands like this. One of the hands is got a leather glove over it, but in the gap between the sleeve and the glove, you can see the two like wooden beams and a series of like wires and clockwork running up in that space. And every time he sort of like flexes his hands, you just see like these little cog pieces, just like little clockwork pieces, just ticking backwards and forth.
He got a robo hand.
He got a robo hand.
Wanker.
Wasn't he starting to get? I thought
It's
we
gonna
were
be
there
pretty
when
hard to do that.
started to happen. Didn't we?
You knew that Blinsky was going to be doing some work for him.
Yeah, Narlag went and dropped him off at the shop, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I give him a high five. Or go to give him a high five.
Yeah, you guys are in the room, so how would you like to address the room? Because the room is currently, fully occupied.
Well, firstly, I make sure to stay 1.5 to 2 meters away from everybody else in the room. And if anyone starts coughing...
Hey, you're immune to disease. Fuck off.
Oh, yeah, actually, it's a good point. I start coughing over everybody.
I'm not frozen. I'm just disappointed.
We know.
Yeah, the room is yours. Mordekainen is stepping over to his seat, which is decidedly grander than everyone else's.
Of course. Izak, mate. So you got a brand new hand.
I forget every time.
Look, until Narlag's exhaustion goes away, he needs to be in his base form because it's too much effort to keep up the appearance and like do other stuff.
His base form is Australian. I love it.
His base form is fundamentally obnoxious.
Welcome to Australia.
We're kind of shit. Alright. Isaac's like, right, who are you then?
It's me, Narlag.
And he sort of turns over to Blinsky. He's like, "You do something to my eyes when you did all this, because that guy over there is a greyish blob."
Oi, fuck off, you wanker.
That's racist.
Right, you blurry man. I'll fucking have you if you don't fucking pipe down.
Real? That's how you treat me. After I dragged you halfway across town, get your arm replaced, that's how you fucking treat me.
He turns over to Wick and is like, "Oi, Pinchy, Pinchy, you was who is this wanker?"
It's look, man, he's a yeah, okay. I don't know. He just started following us around. I can't really say.
I'm paying you to follow me around, you dick.
This is why you never feed them. As soon as you feed them once, you're just infested with Narlags.
Look, I don't.
You
think
let it touch
Izek,
water and it multiplies.
I don't think Izek is really like is together enough to really fundamentally grasp the concept of a changeling. So it might be better just to go with this. Like let's not introduce too many new concepts to someone like him all at once. He's already dealing with this new hand situation. I don't want to disrupt him and completely disorient him in some fundamental way. I'm saying this like loudly in front of Izek.
You see him sort of like scowl and like he's got this metal tankard in front of him that he's been sipping away at. He's like grabs it with the left hand, like crushes it just in this sort of robo hand, and then quickly piffs it at towards your head. Can you give me a dex?
Mine or Wix?
Wix. Can you give me a dex save, please?
A dex save
Yes.
with and I'm inside. How close am I to Ulrich?
Yeah, close enough. Social distancing doesn't really apply to auras.
So it's a plus
Well, it's
3.
10
so
feet,
it's
that's 3 meters.
20.
You just sort of like quickly like dodge out as this crushed piece of like of metal tankard goes flying past and rattles against the floor behind you.
Now, Izek, we're all guests here, and it's not done to be destroying the silverware. That
That silverware could be actually alive.
that.
It's like I was like
it's like on the floor.
Yeah.
Kill me. Narlag goes and picks it up and casts Mending on it.
Oh,
Tosses it back.
which is sort of like it's like the sound that you get when you sort of twist a Coke can back, try to twist it back into shape. It's like, but yeah, and it's sort of, and then the final little, as it pops back out into a round shape, and you sort of toss it back over. It's like,
Here's your tinny. You're right there, Ryan.
oh, I fucking hate it so much. Oh boy.
I've got a page up with Australian slang on it.
Why do you need that? You are Australian.
Because I don't talk like an Australian normally.
Struth. Sorry.
Crikey, and so forth.
As long as we don't have to face any drop bears.
I can drop a bear on someone.
Listen, we're not here to fuck spiders. That's an Australian.
That's an Australian one. You don't want to do that because most of the spiders here will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
That's why you're not here to fuck them.
No. Anyway, moving on quickly.
Quickly enough.
Is it catches this tank as you throw it back to him all repaired? It's like, right, you weirdo.
Narlag. It's Narlag.
I mean, it is Narlag. I mean, he did magic and stuff. He's always been able to.
For now, I'll call you Narlag until that fancy fucker turns back up again. You can be Narlag too.
Like I said, like not great at holding more than one concept in his head at once.
I mean, neither are you.
Look, I know Narlag. He's a hobgoblin in fancy clothes. This guy here is a greyish blob in rags.
I'm not in rags. I'm in bard's clothes.
True, a greyish blob in fancy singers' outfits.
Oh God,
It's almost like you've undergone some kind of fundamental change to your character in the time since he's seen you, and he's not familiar with the current state of things.
I mean,
It's
none of us
almost
really
like
are. I don't really like being this appearance very much.
At this, the Baron Baron Velokovich sort of stands up and sort of like taps his tankard against the table. He's like, now, we should get this meeting in order. Is everyone?
Right,
Mage Mordekainen, is everyone in attendance? And Mordekainen is just like standing up from his seat as well with like a raised eyebrow. He's like, yes, everyone is here now. What are you doing, sir? And you see the Baron sort of like take stock of the position at the moment. It's like, I was just bringing the meeting into order for you. And sort of awkwardly sits back down again.
Ooh, it's a power play sort of thing going on.
he's got a little something brown on his nose.
You see Rictavio sort of take this that feathered hat off, and then sort of shift to his more haggard human form, which is sort of like a 50-odd-year-old man with like this like short grey stubble, and just a lot more aged than Rictavio's half-elf form. And he just sort of places that hat down in front of the table. He's like, so, when do we get to kill him?
Not quite yet. I believe Wick here has the book.
Yeah, let's sort of take stock of everything we've got right now. Sort of put everything on the table and sort of figure out where we're going next. Because I think really we need to. I have a couple of concerns, maybe some queries, maybe some points of clarification that we need to go over. But I pull the diary out of my sack, bag, thing,
Satchel,
messenger bag. And
Purse.
sort of heavily. It's not a purse.
it's a European carry-all.
And heavily thump it down on the table in front of me. Now that right there is Strahd's journal. That was what we were prophesized to go and raid from the castle. That was hidden right on top of his personal tombstone, I'll have you know, and we managed to pilfer it at great personal risk to our bodies. So if that maybe when we're telling the tales of this later, like special focus on the great caper that we conducted to liberate this from the castle, I feel would be, you know, like just I just want to get the details of that right, you know.
Baba Lysaka sort of pipes in and is like, so you're saying that you infiltrated the castle to abscond with his personal musings?
That's his personal history right there. That's the secrets to his rise to power, isn't it?
It's quite a deep insight on the Bludger's inner workings.
I would have thought that being inside the castle would have given you more information of his current state rather than what happened 400 years ago.
Well, I mean, like, there was some other... We did manage to do some other sort of reconnoitering while we were there. We
murdered his brides.
Murdered his brides. They're like well dead as well. Their graves desecrated. They're gone. You know what you don't have to worry about anymore? Dracula's brides.
So what you're saying is you went in there...
Strahd's brides, not Dracula's brides. TN.
So you're saying that you went in there, took his diary and destroyed 3 of his prized possessions.
Yep.
Also nicked some things.
Yeah, we got a good couple of things. Ulrich over here got some nice shiny armor.
That was from Strahd's brother as well. And I believe, didn't one of you talk to his ghost at some length while we were there?
Yeah, so I got to speak to his ghost. He said, a couple of things, mostly that Strahd's biggest weakness is his hubris. I think we all really kind of knew that to begin with. Also, he had a message for any surviving members of his family to live good and try to be happy with what you have at all times. The classic stuff.
And I think, like what we haven't really analysed too closely this journal yet, but I sort of like I'm flicking through the pages and getting to some of that stuff that we were reading last time about the bride, the bride that the brothers fought over. That was talked about in the journal that we read, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sort of. Look, I'm reading this part here, sort of thing. And just from what we were discussing earlier, this is at Baba Saga, I think we're sort of working on the assumption that this bride might have some kind of connection to Irina over there. So, like, that might be a thing. Like, Wick's all about connecting things up, but then it's just like, I don't know, though.
Didn't Baba Lysaga reveal that there was the connection last session?
Well, there's that whole thing where Irina was asking the question of, like, why is it all revolving around me?
Why me?
Why me? Why does everything always seem to be revolving around me? Why does Strahd, have eyes on her? Why, why did the witches make the deal with her? Why does everything seem to revolve around her?
Well, that's why I'm sort of pointing this part of the journal out to sort of like clarify that. Now that we're in an open setting.
And Bubbles like sort of responded like,
no one's giving birth to a monster at the moment.
And on that point, why is it that the dear lady Irina is not leading this council, considering she's going to be the leader of this country at the conclusion of hostilities? Why is she not leading the war council in preparations for her ascension to the throne?
I'm sure you're aware that patience is required in these kinds of things, and also this is a deal that we've only just made and no one else is really aware of it.
Oh yeah, we sort of agreed that Irina would be the ruler of Barovia once Strahd is.
I guess this would be kingdom.
At this, both Baron Velokovich and Mordekainen both sort of stand up in unison, like both sort of like angrily, is like, "You did what?" Almost perfectly timed between the two of them, but with a different tenor to each of them. It's like the Baron is like, "You promised power to the witches to ascension to this
We're
this
only
girl."
Pay 70%. We're only going to pay 70% of everyone else, so it's okay.
We're only going to tax the populace 70%.
I mean, look, listen. As I was pointing out earlier, the whole like bloodlines and inheritance from the Strahd family. Like, if this journal of Strahd is to be believed, she's maybe the rightful inheritor at this point anyway. So, like, I feel...
Well, Mordenkainen cuts you off at that point, and he is sounding quite annoyed. He's like, so you're telling me you made a deal with this devil of woman without consulting counsel about the plan? So,
would you rather be fighting them right now? Would you rather be fighting the witches as well, or would you rather have them on our side, at least for the moment?
Also,
no
you were
offense,
welcome to the meeting. You just didn't show up.
It is... Okay, sorry. My internal canon right now is that Ulrich is literally eating chicken while we're having this meeting.
I mean, he very well could be.
I imagine Ulrich is eating something at most times. I think he is basically Brad Pitting his way through this whole thing.
Because every time you go for a bite, your head dips down.
No, the camera, for some reason, my camera just keeps on focusing. It doesn't matter what I do. It's really annoying.
I can run you through using OBS to to shut down autofocusing at some point if you want, if you're at all interested. But yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyway, Mordenkainen is like, you made deals with a fiend.
Look, stop cracking the shits. Like I said, would you rather they be on our side and helping us fight Strahd, or be against us and us currently dying against them?
And look, we all knew that, you know, this whole taking down Strahd would involve allying with people we would never have thought we would ally ourselves with. I never thought I would be sitting friendly at a table with the wanker over here, and yet here we are. So, like, maybe we should just keep an open mind about these things. Isn't that right, wanker?
Izek turns to Baron Velokovich and is like, are you going to let him talk to me like that? That little pissant is going to fucking talk to me like I'm shit on the end of a stick.
I'm not even going to let him talk to you like that. Izek, you're a top bloke. Like, you know, you're Irene's brother, for crying out loud. You're being a nice man.
You... I'm beginning to warm to you. Nalag too. And at some point, you might even take over. You might even be Nalag number 1.
What if I told you?
Look. I feel like we're not really... Look, decisions have been made in the moment by the people that had to make them, and I feel like debating them after the fact isn't really going to get us anywhere. Does that work? That one work for all you guys right now? Like, we've sort of got a big problem right now in that, look, while we were furiously successful in our caper on the Castle Strahd, it has seemed to have pissed him off beyond all reasonable comprehension. So maybe, like, our priority right now should be less about, who made what deal with who about how many babies get eaten, and more about, like, how we're going about, killing Strahd.
And we should...
Blinsky pipes up and is like, he has a good point, you know. He's
We should
the deal is struck. The fight is on.
We should also point out that the current rate of baby consumption is going to be lower, at least over the next 5 years. Population growth notwithstanding, we should actually see a reduction in the total amount of grief in Barovia.
And if we're careful, the population should be able to leave their houses by, like, probably May the 1st, I think. That's probably a good deadline.
Fuck you. For a second, I thought you were actually going to talk about something relating to Barovia, but not coronavirus again.
You're the worst and the best right now, because I want to be angry, but you're making me smile. Bubble Saga is like, back to my point about Irina. My dear, would you like to lead the proceedings here? And at this point, Irina's just sort of like looking up. She's been very quiet, and Ismark has been in his chair, which is right next to hers. And she's like, I don't think I could right now. In time, yes, but today has been a day. For now, I will allow the existing leaders to continue on. And she sort of sits back in her chair and sort of signals for the room at large to take over. Rudolph, this is Rictavio in his human form, is just sort of like, you guys have stirred up the nest. This could be the time to strike. Strahd will be unstable. It's time to go in. Strike at the heart. Quick strike. Fast. Take him out before he manages to solidify a plan. It's been a while since anyone's stood up against him. We should strike.
That is sort of the idea. I feel like once we sort of assemble all our sort of resources and figure out what we're doing, then yeah, I think like keeping the momentum going, maybe like everybody sort of recharges and heals their broken hands and gets their spell slots back, and then we can just. I have a concern that I have been meaning to raise for the last little bit. We do actually have a problem, perhaps, in that there was somebody who was privy to literally every step of our planning here who is gone now, and I feel like that might be a problem. So...
Mordecai is like, are you talking of the monk?
No, we're not.
What's a monk?
He's dead now.
He's not exactly been privy to everything that we're dealing with.
You're talking of...
Yes,
of the young
Narlag
apprentice,
one.
Wayu.
Young?
Narlag 1.
Oh, that is maybe a problem as well. Really, I was concerned largely with Narlag's little friend Dave. He seems to have gone, and that could be a problem.
Actually, I don't think he'd be going and working for Strahd. That's its own problem in time, but for the moment, no. He's gonna head back to the Amber Temple and try and get
the what now?
Long story. There's an Amber Temple out in the forest somewhere. We'll point out on a map where it is at some point. But that's where Dave would have gone. He's not going to go to Strahd, I can tell you that much.
Why would he go to the Amber Temple?
Oh, you mean when
his
Strahd
dad
got his
is there?
powers?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, David's father. Yeah, his dad. He'd be over at the Amber Temple.
I hate,
Mordecai
I hate
sort of pipes
to
in. It's like,
imagine-
you're familiar, the little gazer, the chatty one.
Yeah.
You're saying it's not in your service anymore.
No. Thanks to
Why?
Thanks to our illustrious Barber
And
Lysaga.
Baba
here.
Lysaga is like, oh, my dear wizard, I juiced him.
She juiced me. I'd rather you didn't call it juicing, but yeah, that's kind of what happened.
I could be mundane about it and say I purged the corruption of the vile elder god that held sway over his heart and organs. But no. I thought I might be eloquent about it and just call it a good old quality juicing.
You
I was there. It was
held my
juicing.
stomach open with your fingernails.
It was.
Well, how else was I going to do it? Young Wick was frightened in the corner.
It was hot.
Ulrich he's only got so many hands. You weren't going to be able to do it for me.
Can I roll to dry heave?
Nope, you don't need to roll. You can choose to
Narlag
fail that
looks-
constitution save.
Somehow Narlag manages to look even more pale and just like, gets that kind of look on his face.
Look. I'm no expert in magical things. Quite the opposite, really. But like, isn't it like a thing where if you had like a creature sort of bound to your will, sort of thing, and then that binding is broken, it is not happy afterwards. Like, what if your
In
little
our
friend Dave
experience, this happened
decides
a lot.
to fuck us? Is really what I'm saying.
I don't know what David is going to do. Because from his perspective, I made sure he didn't know what was going on. From his perspective, it could very well be that either I've just disappeared from his vision, or he knows what's happened. Oh, sorry, no, not that he knows what happens. He probably doesn't know what's happened. Either I've disappeared completely from his perspective, or he's going to go to his father and try and sort out what's going on.
Right, but
You
like,
keep on, the Mordecai pipes up as you keep on talking about a father. Are you referring to a full-blown beholder?
I might be.
There's one of those here.
There might be.
Yeah, but it's fine. He's just sitting where, like, Strahd got his powers. It'll be fine. Nothing ever
Hey,
bad happened there.
hey, Mr. Wizard, just use it. Would it be possible for you to like use this little viewy you got here and sort of maybe check in on Dave somewhat? Like, is that a thing that you could do?
Are you saying that? Are you fairly certain he's gone to the Amber Temple?
There's a very good chance he's headed that way.
I haven't been able to scry into there. When you guys last went there,
We remember that. Yep.
I was not able to keep vision on you. Something around that area shut down scrying.
It's a good 5 miles, and it hasn't been that long. Well, actually, how far is it from the township of Barovia to there? Because it could be like a 2 days travel if he's just...
Wasn't there a teleport circle somewhere in there?
There is.
Yeah, but Dave can't teleport.
No.
Mordecai can.
It's been...
Also, he's a familiar who has been teleported in and out all over this country. So, like, him not being able to teleport is ignoring the fact that you teleported him everywhere.
Yes, I teleported him. Not that he could teleport.
I'm just saying if he has a
I get what you mean. Like, he knows what teleportation is, but, like, he himself can't teleport.
Look, I'm trying to introduce a very compelling story beat right now. Why are you fighting me on this?
Because I like the idea of Dave being lost and alone.
Well,
Aw. Dave?
that's fucked up.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel really sorry for him.
That's fucked up.
Can he join our party and we get rid of Narlag?
I mean, technically, we already have gotten rid of Narlag.
Now
This
we
is
got
now
Narlag
like
too.
2.
This is
Electric
new
Boogaloo.
Narlag.
This is
Bring
vanilla
Narlag.
Narlag.
Vanilla.
Cherry Narlag. Cherry Narlag.
Cherry Narlag. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should see the superior the superior Narlag, but people didn't seem to like it as much. And the vanilla Narlag is the one that took over.
Narlag Zero?
works.
Narlag Max. Narlag
Oh,
Max.
yes. Yeah. Crystal Narlag.
No, that was the previous Narlag.
How many more Coke and Pepsi variants can we name?
Hopefully, that's it.
Hopefully. What do you want me to do about your former familiar?
I mean, we can try and scry on him if you want.
We can try. I have met the little blighter.
I was just raising it as a possible liability. He was literally privy to every step of the planning of this whole sort of thing, and now he's not here anymore, and I'm a little worried. Similarly with Wayu, I could say the same of him as well, I suppose.
Actually, where is he? You know, you've been keeping tabs on him, haven't you?
Oh, he's indisposed.
Mysterious and able to be backfilled in later.
He came back here about a day ago, ranting and raving about needing things from home, and has been, well, he's locked himself within a room of this mansion.
Well, as long as he's going to try and sort it out.
That's fine. We didn't need a wizard to help us. We got the better wizard. We got like the Uber wizard. It's fine, right? Like it'll be okay.
I'm not that good.
And I put my hand on now like 2's shoulder, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I meant.
You do you, buddy. Again, Rudolph sort of now at this point sort of stands up and is like, as you have all pointed out, there are loose threads. There are loose ends that could potentially undermine any sort of planning that we make. So, we must strike soon and quickly. Any delay gives the enemies time to prepare for alliances to be made. As we can already see, alliances are made rapidly and unexpectedly.
Something to just ask you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Did we find out what Strahd's other forces were?
The Vans,
Vistani?
Mm-hmm.
Was it all of the Vistani, or was it just some of them?
Some of them.
Okay.
the Fanes,
Madam
the Swamp Fane, the
Avers.
Forest Fane, and the Mountain Fane.
Yeah, there was mentions of those. There was mentions of those. He has many things. He has vampire spawns. He has a lot of the creatures of the nights, so wolves and bats and ravens. Yeah, he's got and he's also got a sort of a cult. Let's call it a menagerie of creations.
I'm just putting a link in the chat.
Because I think one of the things is, like, we obviously need to make sure that we have at least a comparable force size. Because if we've just got, like, a handful of peasants and a couple of witches, which, like, I know we've got a fair few forces of the witches, I know they're very strong, but we need to make sure that we actually have enough to be able to challenge them, because if we don't, then we're fucked.
Well, that was the whole raising up an army of the citizens of Barovia. That was what the Burgermeister here has been doing with Blinsky, and that's what Rudolfo was doing in Barovia. That's like, it's been the other lane of this plan the whole time. So, like, how has that been going? Have we got an army of well armed and well equipped and trained villagers at our disposal?
Or do we need to do a training montage?
We've got to have a montage. No matter what happens, we need a montage.
Everything's better in a montage. Montage. No.
Did you actually share a link just before, Graham? Because I don't see it.
It's in the Zoom chat.
It's in the Zoom group chat.
I can't.
Sorry, I should have put it in the other one. It's just the tome.
Yeah.
Although I do notice it says something in there about him being bound to a day heart. That doesn't sound good for us. Don't
I
know
think there
what
was
it
some
is,
bits that were in the diary that weren't relevant to our campaign.
There's also information that you guys couldn't gather at the like just in the basic reading that you had.
Well,
time
that's
for.
why we've got the book here right now.
Yep.
I'm sort of sliding that across the table to Mordenkainen, the most booky book person at the table right now,
Yep.
and being like, "All right, well, why don't you have a sort of peruse over this and see what you can, how this compares up with your end of the research sort of thing." There was something about Thanes. I think that might have been important. Look, I'm not really big on this whole research side of it, but I'm more.
What actually is a Thane?
The Thanes are, and this is Mordecai is like, think of them as spiritual connections to elements of the land. So they normally the druids and those and practitioners of that sort of ilk normally look after and guard over Thanes. And these Thanes are the land itself. It's the power. If you gave it an essence, is the essence of the land.
So it's not like an actual sort of person. It's more like a well of power sort of thing.
It's more like the spirit of the mountain and the spirit of the swamp and the spirit of the forest.
So like
we simply
we
just
were
have to
sort of-
burn the forest down, right? Kidding.
What would your proposal for the Thane of the Mountain then? Because he's pointing at a section there that you guys, because you flipped open the book and pointed at the section you've been reading through, and he's pointing at this as like, these entries here are about essentially the reasons why the mist exists. The land within the boundaries of the control of those Thanes are subservient to Strahd. He controls them all and does not control any further. The mist makes sure his power is absolute.
Well, the Swamp Thane was Barbara Saga, wasn't it?
She sort of sits back in her chair slightly, is like, that was an unfortunate bit of negotiation. When young
Stradley Winks.
when young Strahd visited me and my sisters, offering, a protective hunting ground, he did somewhat misrepresent what he meant by that. It's not very often anyone's gotten anything over me and my sisters, but this time I can say that, we were outwitted, but haven't been again since.
So like that isn't like a bond that we can break for Strahd like now, is it?
It would be hard. The Thanes, the actual the mediums, for the most part, are broken. Like me and my sisters, part of our deal was don't do what I'm doing now.
Ah,
Do you know who the other ones are?
The forests and mountains, there were druid folk that looked after both of those realms.
Because I reckon if we take out at least one of them as soon as possible, then we can do the charge.
Here's the thing. If you were to turn around and kill me and my sisters right now, that would do nothing to the connection Strahd has with the land. The deal is made. We were the negotiators, but we weren't the ultimate connection.
True, but you are the heads of a powerful force. If you... I'm not saying that we are going to do this, because we've made a deal, and we're going to stick to that deal, at least we are. If someone was to try and destroy you as a force, Strahd would still have power over the land, sure, but he wouldn't be able to use you in battle, is what I'm saying.
Look, the powers that be, that with the deals that were made back 400 odd years ago, those powers are like the groups of people are just a shadow of their former selves. Like there is no true force that can be drawn upon from those. The power is Strahd's own influence over the land itself and the spirit. That is the power that has been granted. Like,
All right,
you can kill the druids, you can kill the rest of my family, but the end result is very little. You'll kill some inbred mountain folk or some aged women, possibly dying in the process because, well, other people have tried.
All right, well, I guess that disassembling his sort of connection to the Fanes is not a thing we can do. Okay. If that's the way. We don't know how Fanes work. That's just we're not up to date on this thing.
We're exploring our options. If ultimately the best option right now is to just charge in, attack, we'll do that. But we need to work out if that actually is the best option. Because if it's not, and we do it, we're kind of fucked.
Well, I think ultimately killing Strahd is our sort of goal of all this, right? I mean, I look at Ulrich, I'm like, I mean that's what we're here to do, right?
Yep.
He's still eating some chicken.
Yeah. That's all I'm here for, is to stop Strahd and anyone who helped him.
And eat chicken.
Well, as far as information that we garnered while we were there, there was something else that sort of might be relevant to the thing. I don't imagine we'll be able to get in the same way that we went in last time, because like Strahd sort of saw us in there and was quite upset. But there was a teleportation sort of network built into the castle that we made a bit of use of. So I feel like we sort
and Mordecai's like, of course it would be. Building that sort of size would definitely require some magics to get around. It is enormous.
And I'm trying to. I didn't write down the things, but I'm trying to remember. I feel like one of them probably corresponded to that teleportation circle that we know is in there. So like, I feel like we might be able to sort of make our way around the castle with the information that we've got.
So are you proposing that? Okay. We need to know what the battle plan is. Where you three, are the prophesized slayers of Strahd. According to some card reading by some... So, what do you need us to do to get you in the best position to run him through?
Probably one of the best options would be to at least have a large distraction. Something's going to take his attention away.
I wasn't trying to derail the whole thing with the date thing. I just thought it was interesting. And
yeah, well, you said distraction, and I'm like, oh god, Rin. I forgot about. I didn't forget about Rin, but Rin's a sort of a minor point. And then you're just like, oh no, the other one. Oh, why are you? Oh no, the other one. Oh shit, there are a lot of loose ends going on here.
And I was half thinking, like, I remember me and Trevor were talking about this, like, 6 months ago. The idea of trying to bring the Squiglione in on, like, helping us take down Strahd. I don't think that's an option anymore now with the juicing, though, so don't worry about that.
I would have liked it to be an option, but, yeah, it's probably not going to happen now.
No, less so. Now you're public enemy number one. You're like, you're gonna have to go into witness protection.
I'm the mafioso.
You turned on the mob. Yeah, you're the pimento.
Ooh, yes. You were a made man, and now you're going to be unmade.
I'm gonna have some cement shoes.
You were a made man, and now you're going to be deconstructed. That link that you sent through, Graham, you've got to be careful because I think a bunch of that's got a bit of a bunch of the stuff beyond what was in that first write-up. I think is some homebrew stuff.
Oh, okay.
So there's some stuff in there that does not appear in my actual source book.
Oh,
so
okay, that's weird.
I don't think it's a direct copy, or there's elements that are excerpts elsewhere.
Okay, all right. Well, I won't.
Yeah.
I only skimmed over it anyway.
Also, it says Fane instead of Thane, like with an F instead of a TH. I'm gonna look at what Fane means.
So maybe we're just looking for some really quick spinning people.
A temple or shrine. The Swamp Temple. He's fucking Link. That bastard. Link is Strahd. Yeah.
So like, are we back in? Are we back in? Are we all good?
All right.
We're doing this.
Back in.
So like, a distraction, sort of spitballing ideas around here. What if, like, the witches and like the villagers and such could be like a frontal attack on the castle sort of thing, and while that's going on, or while like the attention is at the external of the thing of the castle, we could use the teleporty circle and get in behind enemy lines, sort of thing.
I like that. One of the things. One of the things that. What was the brother's name?
Ismark?
No. That's Strahd's brother.
Oh, Sergei.
One of the things that Sergei told us was that Strahd's biggest weakness is his pride. So we have to make Strahd feel like he's winning the war. I don't know how exactly we want to do that, if we want to make him win a couple skirmishes, if we want to challenge his pride, if we want to go, look, we've got Irina, nya. How do we want to try and challenge that? Because that's going to be the biggest distraction for him.
I mean, I take your I like where you're coming from. I have some mild concerns about him having a victory sort of corresponds to people horribly dying, though, and we probably want to avoid that wherever possible.
Yeah. I'm asking what we want. How would we go about making him feel like he's winning, or that we're challenging his pride directly such that he gets distracted?
You'd have to dangle a pretty big carrot to get him out of his defenses now. If he knows that you are after him, he's going to be bunkering down.
I have a plan.
Arena.
A cunning plan.
The Baron's like, go on, my boy. What have you got?
You don't get to just, like, fade out and like cut back to like the plan already in progress and it happening. This isn't how this works.
This is not one of those.
This
Ryan
is.
just has to edit it really
I'm
well.
not actually going to say it until I've actually run it past you guys because it might just be super fucking dumb.
We give him Irina.
That was actually kind of the plan, except it's not Irina. It's Nale.
I like it.
Yep, I like that plan.
Yep.
What do kind of say?
It's a plan with no drawbacks.
We give Irina to Strahd. How does that sound?
Hold on. Just do your Irina right now. Let's see how convincing it is.
I can't do women voices, so Narlag,
Neither can I, so
Very-
you're probably fine.
very like not super shakily, but like very obviously concentrating very hard. This is very hard for me right now, but hi, I'm Irina.
Have you changed?
Yeah.
Like,
Like
face?
changes into full Irina body, but like obviously
Still wearing
concentrating
bad
very hard,
clothes.
and then shift back. Right.
A little bit of sweat down the brow.
Yeah. Right. This is very hard right now because my body's still recovering from the juicing, as it was so eloquently
Yes.
put. But
And she's like, she pulls like this little hip flask out of her side pocket, and just like takes a little nip from it and puts it back into it.
but give me a good amount of rest. I'll be able to do that with no trouble at all.
Well, look. We have a look. No offense, but a creature of darkness here. Like, do you feel like you could? I don't mean you, Izzy.
Oi!
Fucking rude.
Wanker!
Fucking rude. Holy shit, dude.
I'm sorry. Were you just calling me wanker, Mr. Robot Hand over there? Like, whoa. Anyway, like.
I mean, you got to give everything a try at least once.
Like,
You added some lubrication to the cogs there, right? What the fuck was the jester's name?
Blinsky.
Blinsky? Yeah, you added some lubrication to the cogs there, right, Blinsky?
He sort of does like an awkward sort of like sideways, like he's doing the whole. I have no idea what you mean, my boy. Whatever could I have added to this system to make it more? Never mind.
I'm rolling inside on that. I don't care if I have disadvantage. So what's my inside? So that was a 13.
Yeah.
seems like he's awkward.
He's definitely giving the whole sort of. He's dodging the question a little bit. Is like, look, we're not about that at the moment. Look,
Like,
I've got a working arm. I've got another working arm. Let's get on with this fucking fight.
but like,
Let's discuss celebrations afterwards.
He had dolls made for him.
looking at the hag for a moment, how do you think like Strahd would be able to see through that? Like with his smelling like
Probably
blood and that
instantly,
sort of
yeah.
thing. That's really what I'm concerned about right now.
My one concern is he has known her soul for hundreds of years. If he even takes one good look at someone who is not her, he'll probably see right through it. But, if you can distract him from taking that close look upon you, somehow, you could hold up this illusion long enough. But if he
Is there any-
decides to sort of
actually scrutinize you at all, then, well, my dear, you might be a little bit fucked.
Is there any way to fake him having her soul?
Yeah, like we've got a great wizard, we have a powerful hag, and we have her. Can't you like take an illusory version of her soul, sort of thing, and just sort of sticky tape it to the outside of a changeling? Is that how? I don't really know how magic
anything like that
works.
would be very, very, very similar to how your paladin sword was created, and that would have taken some time. Time we don't have.
Okay. Well, I mean,
It is very much possible, but I don't believe you'll have the 4 to 6 months that it would take to create.
all right. Well, there's no such thing as bad ideas. We're brainstorming here.
Fantastic idea. It's just unfortunately the time frame doesn't really work for us.
I like it though. I like the whole you having in your back pocket the we have Irina here.
I would wager to say that he probably knows you have her. He has eyes in a lot of places.
His face for a start.
Amongst others.
So like, crap. I keep blanking on his name. Rudolfo, and what's his human name?
It's Rudolph and Rictavio.
Rudolph. Okay.
Rudolph.
Weren't
All
there
right,
witches
Rudolph.
working at the castle with him? What happened to them?
Were they?
Were there?
Yeah, didn't we encounter some witches in the castle?
No, we killed his brides.
Oh, I don't know.
They were vampires.
I thought they were witches, but I'm probably wrong. All good.
Like Rudolph, like you're like MVP, like vampire killing bloke. Like what strategies would you say, or like approaches we should be taking for killing Strahd, as it were? Like you're the studied sort of master in this field. Like what should we do?
Well, first of all, you need to understand that he is going to be bunkering down. He's going to have his best defenses around him. He's not going to throw them out willy-nilly unless there is some form of... Unless there's a much more immediate threat than upon his own person. So, your idea of a frontal assault, if it's big enough and bad enough, could draw some of his defenses away. Here's your next problem. That is his lair. It's not just the building he lives in. That whole area is infused with his essence. It's going to be powerful.
If I'm not mistaken, for the like prophecy reading thing, what you guys were talking about earlier, I believe he is prophesied to be sitting on his dark throne. Like, is that anything? Is that anything?
Oh yeah, because there's the last part of the prophecy, which is us going to take him down, and he's sitting on this dark throne. Was that it?
Right,
Yes, the beast sits on his dark throne.
That's going to be the last bit. It's knowing where he's going to be. That, if you've been prophesized for it, that's... Oh boy, is that the best bit of information you could have. Because trying to find a vampire that doesn't want to be found in a massive place like what Castle Ravenloft is, without some sort of guidance, wow, that's a near-on impossible task.
We never went to his throne room, did we?
No, you did not. You basically got to... You did the catacombs, and that was it, of what is like a seven level building?
Yeah.
Maybe higher?
I pretty much imagined it. It was like the castle, the raids from WoW. What were the ones back in the day?
Karazhan?
Yeah,
Karazhan,
Karazhan,
yeah. It's got a real Karazhan feel to it.
And we only did one of the raids rather than a whole bunch of them. But
I think we only did like 2 bosses. That was
Yeah.
it.
yeah, so we still don't know the like the area at all, really.
To the point where
Well,
you
we have
didn't
the
really
map,
even
but we-
notice much in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't even really notice that much of what you would call layer effects of the building. Like you got an uneasy feeling about the place, and there was sort of mist and smoke in areas where you can't really explain how there was, but that was about the extent of it. Can each of you please roll me a perception check?
Oh. I actually didn't do too bad.
I didn't get a natural one. I still got a 1 though.
I got a 16. This is
I
with
rolled
disadvantage.
I got a 23.
23. Wick, you notice this first,
I'm still eating chicken.
but
We notice something first.
La gasp.
The gas.
You see that whole like 3D image of the castle that's in there. You see what looks like a sort of like an umbrella shape, sort of spreading out from each of the spire points. It's like a flat area, just like spreading out like ink across paper. It's almost like storm clouds or something like brewing out of the top points of the spire, and it's like basically covering the area, just spreading out like a slowly spreading like spill across the heights of the castle.
Guys, there's something's going on with like the castle. It's like an ink-like spilling out from clouds of the spires of the. There's something going on.
What the fuck?
Is that
And
a
everyone
live
sort of
feed?
stops and yeah, this is as things are. This is just a representation of the land in miniature and made of water. And you can actually see, now that you're all sort of focusing on it, like within this area, you see little like flashes of light, which like flash briefly and then die down, like in little pockets within this. It looks like it's looking at a thunderstorm from above.
So that's what clouds look like up close.
I think he might be upset. I think Strahd might be having a little bit of a tantrum in his castle.
You see this basically spreading further and further out until the point where basically this cloud cover extends the full width of this 3D map shape. And you see, like, amongst it, you see these little flashes at random locations, just sporadically, just where you can see that there'll be lightning.
Right. Yeah.
Mordecai sort of reaches his hand out a little bit, and then all of a sudden you hear the sound of, like, storm winds. It's just all of a sudden just, like, snap on. It's just... And every now and then, just like the clap and the rumble of thunder, and you just hear booming over the storm sounds is, "Wizard, face me, you coward! I know you're out there. Come and face me." I've slipped into Arnie a little bit there.
No, I love it. I love it.
Wait, didn't he have more of a hello voice when we first met him?
I did that as a joke. This was going to match the Wick vibes, and then decided not to.
If he's after a wizard, I think maybe I
You
should
see
disguise myself
The
as you.
colour fades a little bit from Mordecai's face. And this is the first time you've really seen that any of you three have seen like an actual sort of cracks in his visage. He's always been very in control and and so forth. The only one that's ever seen any sort of weakness in him is not currently in the room.
Well,
But yeah, he's a little bit of colour comes out of his face, and then he's sort of like, I believe he knows I'm alive.
He could be talking about another wizard.
doubt it.
Unlikely.
So, Mordenkainen, I'm fairly certain we all know that you fought him before. It seems to me...
Babala Saga goes, oh, that was you! oh, you fell so fast, you pathetic little man. He bounced 3 times.
I like this woman.
I do too. Like, she's a creepy evil witch, but I like her.
She's a little bit grandmotherly and everything. He sort of snaps towards her and gives her a glare as like, quiet. What's your plan, Narlag? What are you thinking?
Well, he seems to be directly challenging you because maybe he feels you've insulted his pride. Which, that might make some better bait than sending Irina, or at least a double of Irina, because he probably wouldn't know what your soul really feels like. As previously discussed, he knows Irina very well. He's probably been watching you since birth.
And Babala Saga sort of pipes up. It's like, and I don't particularly like the idea of putting the heir to the throne in danger, even slightly. So
that actually reminds me, Irina, you're a very competent fighter. What do you want to do while all of this is going on?
You also have to remember she's also literally just like hours ago given birth, so I would imagine that not getting up and wielding a sword and fighting. She's not the doctor from Prometheus that instantly fucking gets up and fights after having herself stapled closed. Like,
Or
They had future
Terry Gilliam
healing
from,
technology.
Meaning of Life.
back to tanks.
It was a dumb movie.
Back to tanks.
It was a dumb movie. We could call it a fucking dumb movie.
She could be Terry Gilliam from Meaning of Life.
She could be Terry Gilliam from Meaning of Life.
Just drops out. Pick it up, dearie.
There goes our Python quote.
Yep.
Just throwing some ideas out here. Like, what if the 3 of us, with Rudolph and Mordenkainen, infiltrate the castle while the forces of, the towns and the witches and everything else we can muster sort of engineer a frontal assault on the castle?
Question. What colour is Rudolph's nose?
I am so disappointed with you right now. That you interrupted this moment for that. Mordecai is just like, here is my thought. I go forth and face him. And get him potentially out of the castle while you guys get in position. I will have reinforcements with me. But I also understand that this could also be my last stand.
Just make sure you have a couple of spell slots of trampoline for when you fall down the cliff again, and then you can land on a trampoline.
It's the Simpsons with Homer falling down down Springfield Gorge, like over and over again.
Alright, like, I feel like you're taking to heart the thing that we were discussing earlier, where, like, playing on Strahd's hubris by, like, letting him think that he's won and defeated us all, sort of thing. If you're planning some kind of heroic sacrifice of yourself, like to enable that plan. I mean, that's not great. That's not great, Mordenkainen. Like, you can teleport away, sort of thing. You can lure him out and then fucking run. You know, like, I don't feel like you sacrificing your like shiny head for this is
Go to his castle, leave a
Sacrificing
flaming
his
bag
shiny
of
head.
dog poop.
Actually, I have something to bring up. So we know that Waiu had access to a teleportation circle somewhere in the castle, right?
Right.
Did he?
that was the one that's Mordenkainen's circle.
Mordekainen's circle in the castle?
Mordekainen's circle, like Mordekainen's research on the teleportation network in Barovia did note there was one in the castle. Like he knows it's there, but he hasn't gone through it.
And we sort of found it on the maps when we were sort of plotting things out before. So we sort of said the teleportation circle that we know is there is on this level, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, so
And it was up. If I remember right, it was up towards the top.
Mordekainen, can you teleport to that circle? And furthermore, can you teleport us to that circle?
Oh, I can get you through there, but my intention is to try and draw him and his forces out of the castle while you guys get in there and find this throne of darkness.
Could potentially, and I'm asking this in a sort of meta way, Ryan, while you're doing that, would Waiu be able to operate your teleportation circle and get us in there?
Most certainly, he's quite a capable young lad.
And able to be run by Ryan in his dungeon master capacity.
It's like, look at me, I Waiu. Derp, derp, derp.
another bigger fake beard over the top.
I think I might be able to use it.
Look. No, I'm not. I'm not saying anything bad about your beard, Ryan. I have one myself, but like Trevor's is just.
Trevor's is a different category altogether. That is Ned Kelly-esque.
I'm still learning my magic, but I think I might be able to use one.
You think?
I'm not sure. I haven't done it before. And I'm casted a couple of unusual spells, but I think I might be able to.
Ixnay on the using your Elspot say.
Shut up.
I do what I want. I got I got fucking spell slots for days.
No, it's
well, you've got more than two now. That's essentially what it boils down to. You have more than two. But again, you hear this sort of rumbling sound. It's like, Vizard, face me in the field tomorrow evening, or forever be the coward who ran from Strahd.
Okay.
I mean, that really doesn't. That really doesn't seem like the sort of humiliating title that he's implying it to be. Running away from the evil vampire who rules over this land with an iron fist is just like, that seems smart to me. But like, I take the point. That's
good people of Barovia. Your protective wizard will face me in 24 hours, or I will destroy one town per night.
He will face me in Mortal Kombat.
Dun, dun, dun. I can't remember.
I mean, that was what I was going for.
Yeah.
So, like, who's going with Mordenkainen then?
I think I will take the lion's share of the forces. I'll keep them shrouded under cover of magic until Strahd, and I guarantee you more of his forces, present themselves, and then, well, I imagine some sort of grand melee.
Well, like, of us right here, like, is Izek and his sort of retinue. What are they doing? Like, are they going with you?
I believe Izek and his lord Baron Valakovich will be leading the militia forces from Valaki. Ismark will lead the forces from Barovia.
So we're just doing Lord of the Rings, right? Like the three of us are going in behind enemy lines while the entire like forces distract the big guy.
Dibs on Samwise. I said it first. Dibs on Samwise.
I am unfamiliar with this Lord of the Rings you're talking of, but
you're Gollum. You're going to be Gollum.
Fuck you. You're going to be Gollum.
Why don't we just get the Eagles? They solve all the problems.
They're a shitty band. Nobody likes them.
Hey,
they're good for their time.
They definitely did at least one song that's not irritating.
What song?
I can't think of it.
Hotel California is irritating. Hotel California.
That is irritating as fuck. I like jokes.
It's not actually a metaphor. It's literally a hotel that you can't leave, and the Eagles are still stuck there. They're just hoping that someone will come and get them out.
He's just like, you three, and I hope my newly minted apprentice, Yu, will join you as well. You four will infiltrate into the castle, as you are the ones prophesized to do so. Everyone else will be with me, creating the distraction and trying to limit the amount of impact of his forces.
When we find it, we will let you know. That's when you get the hell out of there. Right?
And how do you propose to do that?
I got magic telepathy stuff.
We find what?
The throne room or whatever the fuck it is.
Your way in, some sort of...
Oh, the way in's the teleportation circle, isn't it?
Deeper within the castle.
I understand that we will have to do other things after that. That's like it's getting in the window. Then you got to sneak past all the guards. Look,
we're going to try and pull as many of the guards out as possible, trying to make this as easy as possible. That said, you are walking in to one of the most impossible tasks I have seen.
All right. Well, thanks for.
But we're going to try and make it slightly less impossible.
Go team!
Usually Rudolph sort of stand up. I was like, I think I should be going with those guys.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a large three-headed flaming dog around either. Like, that could be useful.
Is he with us?
You want?
No,
he's not.
He made it clear that he cannot face Strahd.
He can't trust himself to be...
But the dog can.
I don't think the dog goes without...
He can't trust himself to be... what?
Too near to Strahd.
He's an undead who was raised by Strahd's power.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like, let's be clear. Sparky's a creature of darkness. So he probably shouldn't get near Strahd either.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Strahd's like, Puppy!
Who's a good boy?
But Mordecai turns to
Who's
Rudolph
three
like,
good boys? Sorry, that's the better joke.
Getting drunk and going, I don't have enough hands to bat them all.
Mordecai turns to Rudolph and is like, no, Rudolph, you need to be with this larger force. Your skills are going to help us against the innumerable vampire spawn that will be sent against us.
Good luck with that, by the way, as well. Like, you know.
Also, maybe
good
watch
job.
out for one of them. Sort of did like kung fu and stuff, so like he might be trickier.
On that, how much did the Eladrin know before he, well, became a turncoat?
He knew of the prophecy. We had retrieved the Sun Sword. We hadn't done anything else.
He knew about the amulet as well.
Oh, did we? Did he
He had
know
the
about the
amulet
amulet?
first. Yeah. He was there for
He
the
knew
whole
about-
fight
he
and
knew
everything.
He was there for getting it, and it was
Yeah.
part of the prophecy, and that you have it.
Yeah.
The only parts that he doesn't have is the fact that it doesn't have the book.
Also, he knows
this-
about it intimately now because you burned his face off with it.
That's a fair point.
That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that whole thing. That whole jam. So you're saying that, well, essentially this means that any chance of a surprise is probably limited.
Yes and no.
His lair, his throne of darkness is probably going to be particularly well defended. Because if he knows about that section of the prophecy, that is going to be guarded.
That's a good point.
This is true. I will say, Rin was not a very forthcoming man. He was...
Is that a look of shock or a yawn?
Almost.
He was at times very confusing to talk to. So you might find that Strahd has received advice from him and just not understood what he said.
He also seemed a bit dim.
Oh, he wasn't very dim. He was just weird. And that's saying a lot coming from me.
I do like the side story that we're not getting to see out of all of this is the vampire Rin infuriating the fuck out of Strahd.
It's why he's so angry at Mordecai.
Okay. There's also why he knows that the wizard's alive.
Oh yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
No, I don't think he would,
Rin
actually.
never met Mordecai.
No, he didn't. There's...
I think
There's
he
twists of time
knows.
things.
I think he knows that we exist because we did an abysmal stealth check.
There's also that. Okay. Mordekainen at this point goes like, I think we have a plan. So, I will announce to Strahd that I will face him tomorrow evening. In the meantime, you all need to rest up and gear up for the fight or the fights of your life.
Oi, Blinsky, got any more grenades?
I thought you would never ask! Oh, my boys, I've got some fantastic bits and pieces for you that will... we will sort out in the morning.
Huzzah! And so forth.
Go team.
But Blinsky's also continues on with. I also need to. I need to nip back to my workshop. I need to start distributing my equipment out to the militia.
Good times.
This has been the plan all along.
Did Rin know about Blinsky?
No.
Okay, good.
Not the level of Blinsky that you guys know.
Okay, good.
He knew that Blinsky
He
existed.
doesn't know
I
about
believe.
007 Blinsky.
No, he knows about creepy clown Blinsky.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
That's about it.
He knows that Narlag thinks that creepy clown Blinsky is like a legit, like elder god worshipping warlock as well.
I don't think he knows that.
Narlag made that
I
no
didn't know
secret.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I mean, like, prior to finding out that Blinsky's secretly Q, like, that's how Narlag was talking about him. As, like, the ultimate creepy clown.
Just like if we could just click slightly out of character for just a second, and like this can dovetail as to an in-character thing. Just we were talking vaguely before about like our allocations of resources and like the distribution of the artifacts and stuff, and we did talk around the idea of since Ulrich's the only one that can use the amulet if somebody else uses a sword, and I just wanted to like clear that up as a dangling thread. I don't want to take the sword away if you're like digging that as a part of your character, but like,
No, I don't mind.
do you feel like you can employ the amulet and the sword at the same time, or is it like eggs in basket situation? Like,
Well,
I
seems
don't want
pointless
it to
have them
take
both
you
at the same time. Because if I like, essentially, the sword makes sunlight. So, and that's pretty much the main purpose of the amulet. So by having both,
But it has become like a fairly core part of your character.
Yeah,
and like it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to give it up.
It has to
is
be.
what I'm saying.
It has to be one of those things that in character, Ulrich would be okay with this happening.
I also think that there might have to be a discussion with the sword.
yeah, true.
That's the other part I was thinking.
I mean,
Also,
you're
who's actually able to use a longsword?
Definitely
Well,
not
you
me.
Versatile.
Sorry.
It's versatile, right?
Yeah, well, versatile doesn't really mean anything. It means you can wield it one-handed or two-handed. It's still a longsword.
Yeah, it's a martial. Oh wait, no, it's not a martial weapon. Wait, no, it is a martial weapon.
Oh, I can use a longsword. Sorry,
Oh, there you go.
rogues
Yeah,
can
it's
use
a
longsword.
longsword. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Rogues are one of the weird classes where they don't just have simple or martial weapons. They have simple weapons and then a couple of other ones added on. Because rogues.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm not giving you his armor, so
That's fair.
I was trying
Not
to
that
like
anyone
have
else
it
can
the
wear
other
it.
way and like take the amulet of. I thought there could be like the amulet of Ravenkind I could grandfather in on that.
that would
But-
be really useful. I would prefer to give you the amulet, but I can't.
But I did try and use it before and it didn't work.
Yeah, it
Unless
does-
Ryan wants to give us like a couple of levels between now and then.
You can try.
or Ryan just wants to ignore the fact that it's only usable by.
We should roll a
cleric or
D100.
paladin
If
of
we get
environment.
a 1, we lose a level. If we get a 100, we all gain a level.
What's frustrating is that it's the frustrating thing is that at level 13 I get an ability that specifically lets me use items that I'm not supposed to be able to use. There is a thief ability that's let you use magic items that aren't intended for you. Which is just
Oh, boy.
it's just frustrating that it's like my class has the thing for exactly this, just in 3 levels.
Well, see, the thing is as well, the amulet has 3 abilities. I can't use one of them. Because it's only if you... So, Turn Undead. If you have the Turn Undead or Turn the Unholy feature, you can expend 3 charges to do that. But I don't have that, so I can't
Yeah,
use
it's very
that ability.
specifically a cleric thing.
Yeah, so... And of the 2 things it has left, which is Hold Vampires or Sunlight, it's a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw for Hold Vampires, which against Strahd is pretty much useless. So, essentially, it's using
But-
Sunlight, which uses
but-
every... Oh, yeah.
But you remember in the last encounter that was a complete counter for Strahd.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Having the Sunlight option is good, but you only get it twice, basically, before it has to recharge.
But I remember when we met him in the catacombs, that was literally stopped him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Ryan looks like he wants to say something.
I was going to say, let's drop this into character
Yeah, no,
because this will be an actual discussion of force.
no. I just like I wanted to broach that out of character because I didn't want to confront Ulrich with the thing, and like I'm more concerned about this from Graham's point of view than from
I would
Ulrich.
actually say
Because frankly,
strategically-
fuck Ulrich.
Way to ingratiate way into his good books.
I actually think
No.
strategically
Wick
it
doesn't
makes more
think that.
sense
Ross
for you
thinks
to have it.
The amulet.
No, the sword. Because if Strahd thinks I have the sword, he's going to go after me.
Interesting.
And if then it turns out like you turn around and you have the sword, it does mean you have to go into melee though. Like right, which you know.
That'll happen anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey.
hold on.
Drop into character.
Look, I'm just like you just for our resources and like our battle plans, like while we're fighting. I just want to raise the possibility, like if in the middle of the fight, if we want to get tricky with things, I could maybe take that magical sword that you've been using and sort of like also wield it, sort of thing. Like he thinks you've got it, and then who's got it now? Like I stab him in the back with the magic sword. Like, let's just keep that open as a possibility. Do you need to like introduce me to your sword, sort of thing? I know you guys have a very special relationship.
Yeah. I tell him about the chicken I just ate, and he's like, I wish I could eat chicken.
I like. Sorry. Now
I-
thinking about it, I like the idea of it being like a trick
Yeah.
we can employ
Actually,
later, rather
ask-
than.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, you good. What were you saying?
I asked Blinsky if there's any way he can make the sword I have look like just even vaguely like the Sun Sword.
Or can we get him to make a forgery of it?
Yeah, that would be good. That's silvered as well. I would.
Well, it's just a handle.
Well, yeah.
I can knock together a hilt easily enough. That's no problem at all.
I like the idea of having a fake one, and we can play. No, I'm not going to say that. Play a shell game with the sword, sort of.
Well,
thing.
because if he skips past me to get to one of you guys because he thinks I have the sword and he thinks he's weak against it, it's worth a shot.
I thought like maybe I need to. If this sword is alive, is it going to be mad if I touch it in its private places?
Well,
Is that a thing that would happen?
I take out the sword and I try and convey what we've been talking about to it.
Just tell him I'm cool.
And
Tell
I
him
ask
I'm
him,
alright.
I ask him his opinion or like his thought. Well,
Remember, it's all
yeah,
emotion.
Yeah,
So give me an idea of the emotion
I
that
guess-
you're imparting.
I'm trying to impart subterfuge, I guess, towards Strahd. Like, can I pass through images, or is it just emotion?
It's emotion.
So yeah, I guess
Emotion.
subterfuge. Yeah, I guess subterfuge and giving him up to Wick, but like in a. I don't even know how to portray.
Teamwork.
Okay,
Yeah,
you get a
Trust.
There we go.
Yeah.
Trust. You get an experience, sort of an emotional response that feels like the excitement you get when you know you're going somewhere where you'll meet like-minded people. Like it's like so it's sort of you get the impression that the sword is at least willing to meet Wick.
All right, I reverently pass it to Wick.
As you pass it, it's like passing a baton. And you are both just sort of pulled into this sort of light space. And you can see that you're both sort of there, and you are very much
I wave at Wick.
in contrast to like this sort of again like sort of light filled space. And you both get
like in the Matrix.
yeah, a little bit like the Matrix, but a little bit more sort of
I need swords, lots of swords.
the light's got a bit of a yellow tone to it as well. It's not sort of the bright white fluorescent sort of feel. You both get the sensation of a third participant in the space, but you cannot see them. And they are...
Invisible menage a trois.
Ah, yeah. Crossing swords.
We found the joke. Hey!
There we go. That's the episode title.
Crossing swords.
I mean, it's probably the War Council, but alright, whatever.
I mean, if you'll still want to... Sorry, I dropped into Nale voice. If you still want to use it... If you still want to use a magic sword, Ulrich, I can make one for you, I think.
Cool.
I mean, I can make my own, technically.
Yeah?
It doesn't last that long, but,
Oh, yeah,
But,
have it in it.
you've got, like...
Sorry, we're having a very cool scene in a white space right now. Let Ryan finish.
I need to finish.
Need to finish.
I can't finish unless I finish.
Need to finish.
Always.
No, you're in this white space. You feel the presence of a third party in this space, but again, can't see them. But they feel all around you. The sensation is sort of warm and friendly, but also sort of inquisitive towards Wick.
Hey, buddy.
You don't get like a voice or a response or anything like that.
Like,
Or this is your opportunity to explain how this works.
Put the back of my hand out there, like with the dog. Like, sniff, sniff.
I mean, to be honest, he's doing exactly pretty much like what I was doing.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I sort of like, no wait, this is a magic spiritual thing. I've got this. And I sort of like stand back, like open and accepting, and just sort of like let it wash over me, and I'm just like,
You feel that sort of inquisitive emotion sort of relax slightly, and it's more of a like a calm sensation. And you sort of notice that it was very much in reaction to you sort of stilling your own thoughts and your own emotions.
and I'm like, sort of like offering up the idea of like, can be sneaky, can like sort of hide and strike and not be seen. Like I'm sort of trying to be like convey the idea of like hiding and remaining hidden and being like quick and sneaky rather than like forward and brunt and
the whole room sort of flashes up in brightness to the point where basically you guys get sort of momentarily just like light blinded, like snow blindness, where you sort of it takes a little while for your vision to come back. You very much get the sensation that stealthy is not something that Sergei was about.
fair.
Yes.
All right, no,
But
but
aggressive, yes.
and his way didn't work. So
Ouch.
yeah. Yikes.
But you also get sort of a very sort of friendly demeanor or emotion towards you at this point. Like it is,
We tight. I'm like fist bump.
yeah.
Fist bump to the
a
sword.
Spiritual fist bump.
I mean, he hasn't had much socialization for several hundred years, so he's probably aching for someone else to talk to.
Also, Nalag, from your position outside of this this sort of spirit room, you basically just see Ulrich and Wick sort of frozen in place with each with a hand on the hilt of this sword, and you sort of see this like pulsing white glow coming from like the shards of the crystal blade sort of come out. You just, right at the base of it, sort of within the hilt, you just see this sort of like slight pulsing, almost like a heartbeat sort of pace of just like a glow building up.
Fair enough. Does it look ominous, or does it sort of just look like it's a thing?
Roll insight on the sword.
This is where you get to 1.
This is where I get a 19, actually.
It looks like just a steady, calm heartbeat rate. It doesn't seem to be, fast paced or particularly aggressive. It is just woo, 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 woo. Back in the light room, Ulrich, how would you sort of impart the idea of the emotion of sort of passing the sword on?
I guess like a thanks, like thanks for your help. I'm part of like here.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, like a bit of pride, but like I guess acceptance that being.
The experience you get back is one of sort of sorrow at loss, but understanding, and sort of a longing to be together again at some point.
It'll probably happen. I'll take you off his corpse.
And you guys drop out of the light space, and you're back in the room as Ulrich sort of releases the hilt of the sword and into Wick's hand. And yeah, Wick, you're looking at this.
Doing exactly what I do.
Every asshole thinks it's a lightsaber.
I mean, it is.
And Rudolph was like, "What just happened then?" You guys were just like standing still for like a minute, holding onto this sword.
I met a sword. He's cool.
My lords, it is. Look at that thing. As you're like, vroom, vroom, flying, lightsaber sounds.
Oh, grins out. But I very much like the idea of maybe even Ulrich keeps it for now, and like just like now that I've been introduced, it can be like a take it in the middle of a fight sort of thing, or sort of like we can now like throw it like a baton between us.
It's sort of a dual attunement.
Well, I mean, you may as well have it.
Kinda, yeah.
I would say for now, you may as well have it.
Sure.
It's more the point that, at this point this would be you attuning to it.
Yeah. Plus, it would be super confusing to have to tell. I've already forgotten the guy's name. So it's not Sergei.
Sergei.
It is Sergei. Convey that across. So yeah. You take it for now. I'll take the fake one whenever we can get it made.
Like, it feels like Ryan has said that the sword understands what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly like you have to tell Sergei, because I kind of can't talk to him anymore.
Sergei is a sword. But yeah, the sword is currently attuned to Wick.
Okay. Cool. I like the idea of like having a fake hilt. And like, can you like can Nalag like cast light on it or something like that, where it still has a glow about it, sort of thing?
I'm just now looking at my character sheet to see if that's in my spell list, or if there's something similar to that in my spell list.
Spells as well, because I have a couple of things that I could potentially cast.
Just as a thought, I thought there's a neat idea of like you've got a decoy sword.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Ooh, kind of.
Elemental weapon.
Kind of.
Minor illusion.
I do have minor illusion, but my minor illusion isn't as good as Wick's, so I can't really do that.
Wicks.
So
If
not
I
Wick's
cast
Wise.
elemental weapon, is there a way? Because that turns a non-magical weapon into a magical weapon. Is there a way of making essentially putting an illusion on that?
We may be overthinking this for the sake of a bit.
Yeah, I think honestly, if you just have the hilt on your belt, that may just be enough.
Yeah.
If it's a convincing enough duplicate.
Yeah.
And I imagine Wick would keep his weapons somewhat hidden,
Yeah,
so
I
the
would.
true
Yeah.
sword may not be seen until it is too late.
But we're together, so if you can sense it generally, like he'll sense it about us, but it'll. Yeah. I love it.
This is a good plan.
I'm liking
this
this
is a
plan.
good plan.
I like this plan.
Shell game with the magic sword.
As
And
Blitz was like,
and all this time, like in the view of all of the underlings, Ulrich has been running around flashing a magic sword everywhere. So if he thinks he knows anything about us, he knows that I love this plan. I love it. This is getting better.
Also, I've been using my other weapons as well, so
Yeah.
there's no reason I wouldn't be using them when we face him again. So, yeah. No, I like this plan as well.
Blinsky's like, I need to get back to my workshop. I need to start distributing things, but I will have one of these ready before you guys head off tomorrow evening.
Just double checking the Sun Sword's blade, quote unquote. Does it look like fire or does it look like light?
It looks like light crafted into a blade
okay.
shape. I think I described it a little bit like Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Yeah.
Where it's got like it's a little bit off because of the whole fractured nature of it. So, but it's still a light sword.
So like I feel like we're at the point now where this is go and rest up and
This is your chance to actually have a long rest,
yes.
guys.
Yay.
A long rest.
Yay.
And, just before we finish the meeting, I ask if anyone happens to have a, what did I need? It was a diamond, I think.
Gotta get paid, Holmes.
No, this is in case for you guys, one of you guys going down.
I would imagine the Burgermeister would have diamonds.
Where is it? What's the spell?
I would imagine Mordenkainen would also have diamonds. That's also
Yeah,
a thing.
diamonds worth 300 gold.
I want to get it from the Burgermeister though.
Yeah, you just want to.
Specifically tax diamonds.
You just want to rob the Burgermeister.
I so do.
Yes.
I very much do.
But
like, I want to rob him, but then, like, making him give them to me voluntarily is better. That's a little better.
So you asking the meeting overall, are you,
I mean,
Ulrich? Like the to the general group? You're looking for a diamond?
Just I'm looking for some spell components that will help me keep these guys alive. Namely, diamonds about 300 gold's worth, or 600, or 900, or 1200.
What do you say, Burgermeister?
You see him just like rubbing his hands a little bit, like nervously, like it's like twisting around one of his around one of his fingers as he's and he's just like, roll perception. Those who are somewhat perceptive, probably not you, Ulrich.
Hey, Ryan. I rolled... Hold on.
Is that a 1?
It was a 20.
Is it 20?
I rolled a 20.
You see, you see him as he's sort of wringing his hands. He is like twisting a ring around his finger, just so the actual band is just on the outside.
What's had a bit of a manicure, Mr. Burgermeister recently. Like, what's you wanna just show us your delicate nails?
You're
while
such
we're
a dick.
preparing
You are such
to
a
say-
dick.
What do you, What are you talking about?
No, I was just admiring the beautiful jewelry that you're displaying now. Like, oh, it's odd that one of them is a blank band. Like, that's
This is sort of like
it's an interesting choice for somebody of your style.
Trying to cover the band that he's been twisting around. And so his shoulders slump slightly. Like, this is a ring given to me by my grandfather. And he sort of spins it back around again, and it does have in the center. It does have a large diamond, and then it's inset around with a band of rubies around the edge of it, and it's inset into a very thick golden band. And the diamond itself here would be worth a good 500.
I mean,
The rest of it, well, there's rubies, there's gold. This ring is, well, in material value, worth thousands. In actual, like, sentimental value is completely priceless.
I'm just going to say, if we don't have to take a diamond from someone's personal possessions, especially a family heirloom, let's please do that.
I mean, listen, look. I understand where you're coming from, but all diamonds come from somebody's personal possessions. That's just how possessions work.
Yeah, but
he's sort of like,
trust me on this. I know from diamonds and personal possessions.
look, Narlag's
he sort of
future
pulls his hand up and
corpse
starts
thanks you.
twisting the ring, and you can tell this thing is probably not been taken off for a while because it takes a fair bit of effort. This guy's a bit of a portly gent, so he pulls it off and like sort of holds it up, and then looking at it, then sort of extends his hand towards Ulrich. Is like, I'm going to pass this on to you, and only use it if you need it. At the end of this, if it remains unused, I would dearly love to get this back.
You have on my oath to Mars.
I don't even know who that is.
Is that
okay,
like
no-
a... I like the idea of, like, you wearing the ring and then having to, like, revive somebody and just slamming your hand down.
Just punch him with the ring.
Narla-
You're healed!
Narlag's future corpse thanks you.
Oi! That is rude, and I resent that remark.
You resemble that remark.
That is rude and accurate and...
I'm in this picture, and I don't like it.
I was like, and he sort of drops the ring into your open hand. Is like, and just, his hand still sort of extended. And is like, it's almost paining him to pull his hand away and sort of bequeath this item.
When I percepted that before, did I notice any other rings on his hand?
No.
Oh, several.
Fucking hell.
And I, for one of my things, need an emerald worth at least 200 gold.
No, he doesn't.
Shut up.
Look, I'm paying you anyway.
Look, you gotta let me wet my voice. It's the fucking bag of
We
my
can
stuff.
steal as much fucking stuff as we want from Strahd when we kill him.
It's not about the stuff. It's about the burger. Okay, fine.
principle.
Which
I
one-
don't need an emerald.
Roll deception.
Who, me?
Yes. No. Ulrich.
Can we include me calling him out on his bullshit?
With disadvantage.
because- that was a 15 and a 12. So my deception is 16.
16. You see him sort of like look at a couple of the other rings there, and he sort of looks you and sort of squints slightly at you, and then looks over at Narlag.
Just shaking his head, just like no.
And you see him sort of like pull his hand away and actually sort of actively like counting the rest of the rings and making sure they're still there.
I'm picturing the thing from the animated Robin Hood movie where, like, I think they're dressed up as fortune tellers.
I know exactly
and
the
he goes
bit
and
you're
like
doing.
kisses them on the palm, and then he smiles
And pulls
and
them
it's
all out of the housing. Yeah.
He smiles and there's all gems in his teeth.
Do we need to try and steal anything else from any other Burgermeisters?
Well, there's other Burgermeisters, so look.
Because
No, we don't have time. We don't have time.
I need to talk to Mordenkainen about a thing.
With this, a few of the folks actually start filtering out of the room. The Baron sort of again rubbing this sort of very pale section of one of his hands where a ring used to be. Just sort of rubbing it sort of a little sort of mournfully. Izek is sort of just sort of following on fairly closely behind. Ismark helps Irina up and sort of walks them off. Mordekainen follows Baba Lazaga out, pretty much making sure she doesn't steal or destroy anything.
Makes sense.
Rudolph puts his hat back on and becomes Rictavio once again, and puts an arm around Blinsky and is like, Blinsky, my boy, we need to go and back to Valaki and arouse the troops.
Arouse.
Rouse the troops.
It's like, oh my.
A bard never forgets.
Look, I'm sure with that hat of yours, you can arouse pretty much anyone.
Ah, my boy, yes. But those two leave the room. And essentially, it is. You guys are in the room in the room together. Shortly, Mordekainen walks back in. And is like, "You brought such filth into my home."
Now that's
Hey.
rude. Izek's not that filthy. Look, I did find him lying in a gutter, but you know, you got to excuse these kind
The
of
hag. But I have rooms for you already set up, all three of you. If you would care to follow me. And he sort of leads you out into the hallway.
Before we actually go out, I've got a
Yes.
present for you, in a manner of speaking. While all of us are here, they all know I've taken it, but I don't really want anyone else knowing that you've got it. And Narlag pulls out like the jar of Strahd's grave dirt.
Oh.
It's from Strahd's grave. Not sure exactly what you'd be able to do with it, but I'm sure it'll help you in some regard.
Also, while we were there, we did desecrate his grave in a pretty fundamental way. So, like,
I'd say more.
One would argue his grave was somewhat desecrated
I'd say
anyway.
we consecrated it, if anything.
ooh, that's good. That's a good point.
So we more blessed
But-
his grave.
Did you do what you did to the rest of his grave to
No.
this?
This is
Interesting.
untainted grave dirt. Well, tainted grave dirt, I guess.
He probably rubbed his taint all on that.
So,
Interesting.
dirt, eh?
That's cool.
But it's unmodified grave dirt.
He sort of runs a hand over the top of it, and like a opaque orb appears around this grave dirt, and sort of holds it in place in space.
He just bubbled
and it
it.
just sort of hovers there.
He
Sorry,
just bubbled it.
I guess.
I'm imagining
Yeah.
Steven Universe. Where they
Steven
bubbled it.
Universe. Yeah, that's exactly the image I'm going for. Is just basically like, whoop, bubble.
Yep.
This is quite the gift. This could be very interesting. Very clever.
You're welcome. I was going to use it for other purposes, but then the opportunity to
Sexy purposes.
to get
let's-
juiced, as
let's,
it were.
let's face it. it was going to be butt stuff.
Then the opportunity to get juiced, as it were, happened, and I no longer really feel the compulsion to use it for more nefarious purposes.
On that, what did she do?
I'd rather not relive the recount of that.
I don't need the details. I just want to know what the process was. What did she do to you?
I'll let Ulrich talk about the gory details, but I can safely say that I'm, at the very least, free of Ygolanak's elder influence.
So that was your patron.
Yeah.
Your supplier of arcane.
His
I
supplier.
guess.
Yes.
I guess. I've got...
So how is it that you still have power?
I don't know. From what I can tell, what Ygolanak was getting, not just from my service, was something else. It was a take and a very small give relationship on his end.
Do you remember at all any time during your life before your patron's intervention? Did you remember anything remarkable or odd or unexplained happening?
A couple of things, but nothing that would be considered super magical. I guess just growing in age has made me a little bit more magic.
That's got to come from somewhere, though. Without training, how much... Out of fear of being like your favorite little hag, how... Might I borrow a couple of drops of blood?
I mean, it's not tainted with Ygolanak anymore, but... Yeah, if you promise not to do anything...
Oh, this is...
You're not going to ask for a stool sample next, are you?
Check the poo.
Check the...
And look, you could prick your finger with your own knife or anything. I just need 2, maybe 3 drops, and everything will be above board and done in front of all 3 of you.
Sure. I mean, Why seemed to trust you, and although he's gone somewhere, I trusted him. So yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll talk about why you in time, but whatever happened in that castle, that affected him.
Probably not our place to talk about it.
And I can understand. Strahd has a way of really getting inside your head and
I like
yeah.
it. I like how you phrased that.
But this blood.
Yep. Nala gets out a knife and,
And he, Mordecai just sort of holds out like a hand, like palm upwards, and just a couple of drops in my palm. That's all I need.
Don't be gross. Nala prestidigitates a small bowl.
Well, that also works, but unnecessary. But if you could,
Cleanliness in a disease-ridden environment like Barovia.
don't you start that as well.
Yeah, he does it. Cool, done.
Okay, there's 2 or 3 drops in that are in this little bowl, and you sort of like pinch the wound, close yourself, and just let that sort of clot itself closed. He looks at this and is just like, just sort of studying it intensely, and then sort of like holding a hand over it, and you see when he sort of channels a little bit of power towards that bowl, that your blood illuminates slightly.
Magical blood.
Who were your parents?
Just
Were they anything of consequence?
changelings like myself.
Oh, the
Both of
Emperor
them?
was your father.
Fuck off.
I mean, Dad farmed some sheep. Mum ran a flower store.
Grandparents? Anything
Never
remarkable
met him.
there?
You're not a wizard. You're not a warlock.
I'm definitely not a cleric.
You have power sourced from your blood. Your bloodline. You're a sorcerer, Harry.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to do this line, and I need to really fucking hammer this one home. But you have magic within your own bloodline.
Mate,
And it's not learnt. It's not acquired. It is just innate within you. That's what your Golinak wanted. Siphoning power off you and just giving you a taste of it back, twisted and morphed in his own flavour. And he's been with you for so long, you didn't even realise you had it.
Your Golinak sucks.
I mean, it's been a good decade since I've been with since I had been with Ugolanak. So, you know, it only makes sense that I wouldn't really realise what it's like without it.
And you're sort of in your sort of mid to late 20s, aren't you?
No, like 30s. No, like in his in their 30s.
Okay. You might have been a bit of a late bloomer, but I imagine there was indications that you had power.
Like I said, a couple of incidences here and there, but I just brushed it off because I never really caught on.
So, what I need to do, I need you to rest up well. Get your strength back overnight. In the morning, let's see what you're capable of.
You need to train in the hyperbolic time chamber.
We need to have a montage.
We do need a montage.
But with that, each of you are led to your respective bed chambers for the night and have an opportunity to actually rest up properly for the first time in God only knows how many fucking sessions.
of my exhaustion levels.
Yes, you can get rid of an
exhaustion level per long rest.
Which I think you
I
only
had
have
to.
one anyway, right?
Yeah, I
you
move
had
at
two?
half speed, and I have disadvantage on all ability checks.
Just if we're going for the boss fight, I think you can wipe out the.
Well, it's
I could
it's
probably
at least
knock off on the
it's
first.
it's 24 hours before the battle. That's 2 sets of 8 hours, and you can do a little bit of training
Yeah.
during long rests as long as it's not too strenuous.
Yep.
Just be cool.
Yep. We could do it. You don't find out
be
that
cool for 10
the
minutes.
TPK happens just because of it.
Just be cool.
The,
Ryan's okay. Don't worry about it.
but yeah, with that,
Ryan is red-eyed
you
and
assholes.
tired.
Ryan's been up since 3 o'clock this morning, so Ryan is quite tired at this point.
Ryan's
You're not
okay
working
with that.
tomorrow, are you? Good.
No,
Fuck.
no, thank Christ, no. I wouldn't be on this late if that was the case. 9 o'clock is the very, very latest I go when I'm working.
Same.
So, yeah, but with that, we'll finish up for tonight, and next session, training montage.
Hold on, I've got something for that.
No, you don't. It's a lot.
And that's this week's episode of the Sunday Sessions. You can email the crew at isolatedcitygaming@gmail.com, follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Isolated City Gaming, and if you like what you hear, tell a friend. We're available across a lot of platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and on YouTube. Just search for Isolated City Gaming or the Sunday Sessions. Catch you out there.